Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Regular viewers will know I review many photographic, audio and video related products, and I say that every single time I do one of these videos, but hey ho, I don't know what else to say. Today we're taking a look at the new, A, it is new from Canon, and B, it's new to me because I've only recently purchased it. I've had it about a week to 10 days, and it's the Canon M6 Mark II, and here it is. It is a fantastic little camera. It's a small mirrorless camera, and it shares a lot of similarities, I say that word, to the Canon 90D or D90, 90D I think it is. But it has the same sensor, and apparently quite a few of the other functions are the same. But this is a mirrorless one, where the 90D is a DSLR. It's a mirrorless one, very, very compact, as you can see looking at that shot there. I've actually got fitted at the moment my Canon M11-22 lens, which is a wide angle zoom, sort of, not really extreme wide, but very wide to wide. And because it's mirrorless and it's compact, you can see how small, I mean, you take the lens off, you can see how small that body really is. It's very, very tiny. And it's got a 32.5 APS-C APS-C sensor. So the megapixel count is very, very high for an APS-C sensor. They're normally around about 24 to 26. This one's 32 or 32 and a half. And it's got great features. I like the layout of the actual buttons. I like a camera where I can get to the buttons easily and adjust functions easily. Now, this has got your traditional mode dial on the top here, so you've got aperture, shutter priority, aperture, shutter priority, manual, programmed, automatic, and what have you. And there's a new one called FV. I actually haven't looked at the manual to see what that stands for, but I know what it does because that's what I use most of the time, and I love that function. I'll explain that in just a mo. You've got another function button on the top there. I've set that for in photo mode. I've set that for selecting the focus area. The nice thing with this camera, each button can be assigned for different things when you're in video or when you're in photos. So for example, when I'm in video mode, which is on here somewhere, yeah, so when this camera's in video mode, the top button now gives me ISO. So you know, very, very handy that you can separate the two, which is exactly the same I do on my Nikon Z6s. It's got your tilty-wilty screen. So many cameras are featuring this kind of screen now. And that's great if you're doing selfies, you're doing vlogging. I mean, vlogging is a big industry now. And the camera manufacturers have twigged on that they make a good vlogging camera. It's great for vloggers. So yeah, you've got, where are we? So you've got your vlogging screen, which is awesome. I don't really do, I have tried vlogging, but I can't really get into it. I feel like a real Wally walking down the street talking to myself into a camera like that. But if that's what you're into, it is nice and compact and it feels good. It feels, you know, and for vloggers and for really anyone else, it has got a mic input on the side. So you've got your HDMI and you've also got your mic and USB input. So you've got, on this side, you've got your HDMI and USB under that flap. And you've got your standard 3.5mm jack mic input on the side here, which is, you know, obviously very handy. It's standard tripod mount on the bottom, and that's where your battery goes. One SD card slot in the bottom there, so that's, you know, that's fine and dandy. EPR 17 battery, you know, so that's you know, not too bad. On the back here, your standard settings here for adjusting flash, trash can, and again shutter settings, you know, whether you want burst rate or whether you want single shot, continuous shooting, whatever. Info button just brings up the information display on the screen that toggles through different screens. It has got a button here for back button focusing, so you can use that button to get the focus and then take the photograph. Again, there's many photographers that swear by back button focusing. Again, I don't use it, so I shall probably reassign some of these buttons for doing different functions. I haven't reassigned any of these buttons yet because I haven't felt the need to, but I think as I get to know the camera more, I will think, oh, that'd be really handy if that was on a function button. But saying that, the touchscreen is absolutely superb. And that's another thing that Canon are so renowned for. Why is it other manufacturers don't put touchscreens on? I'm talking Sony predominantly. Even with a new A9 II, which is their £4,500, is it 4,500, something like that, top of the range sports camera, it hasn't got touchscreen. It has, I think it has for the focus, but not for going into the menus and what have you. But this is great. So I've now put it into FV mode, which is basically a sort of a shutter and aperture priority mode, but you can set whatever you want. So as you turn this, it's got a dial function button on the top here. This used to be exposure compensation. That does multiple things now, depending on what function you're in. So in FV mode, I can turn that, and along the bottom, it'll tell me whether I'm going to adjust the aperture, the shutter speed, the ISO, and what have you. Exposure comp, and that's great. So you can just turn it along. That's in aperture now. So as I turn the aperture ring, the aperture is going to go up and down. Move it along again. Turn the, sorry, not the aperture ring, this control wheel on the front here. As I turn that, the exposure comp now goes up and down. And move it to ISO. That'll take it off ISO, put it into manual ISO. So, you know, it is really, really useful, this function dial. You can be out and about, and very, very quickly you can set it, well, I'm going to set that to auto ISO or whatever, or quickly do a bit of exposure compensation. It is a very, very handy, and I really like it. I genuinely really like that particular feature. But equally as nice as that, if you don't want to use the dial, you just, let me just show you, just tap on the screen. Oh, that's typical. That's set to, let me take that off. Right, so now you can just touch the screen, and then the aperture comes up, and you can just slide that down, set the aperture, or you can set the ISO. I don't know how much of this is coming out on the, I really don't know how much of this is coming out, but you can adjust the shutter speed. I don't know, as I say, I can't really see how much of that is being is working, but you get the point. The touchscreen is really good. It's not just useful for touching focus and picking up your focus point and rack focusing and all those kind of things, but it's great for adjusting your settings. As long as the setting appears on the screen, so like if you're in aperture priority, let's go to shutter priority. You can select OK on the screen. Job's done, and then now you're in shutter priority. Well, you can click on the shutter icon, and then that will adjust the shutter speed, or you can click on the exposure compensation icon. Let's get rid of that. The exposure compensation icon, and then that will adjust the exposure compensation. So, you know, the touchscreen implementation is phenomenal. Absolutely love it. It's got a really, really nice grip as well. One of my favourite grips of all the small cameras, to be honest, because, you know, you can walk around all day easily with that. There's no weight to that at all. It feels really, really good in the hand. And, you know, I do like that a lot. It's got, yeah, obviously traditional hot shoe. And as I say, this dial at the top here, which was the exposure compensation, is now a multi-purpose dial that you can set for doing different things. Function button, as I said, on the top there. Now, there is no viewfinder with this camera, but there are kits that include a viewfinder. I happen to have the Mark I version of their clip-on viewfinders, which were originally designed for the M3 and the original M6. But I really like this particular one because A, I got it cheap off eBay, so that's a good enough reason to like it. It just slides on, clips into place there. But the reason why I like this original one is because it's adjustable. So you can move the viewfinder up and down if you want to look down like that. And it does automatically switch between the screen and the viewfinder. And the display, I think, is excellent. There's been many criticisms that these Mark I versions are very low resolution. That may well be. I suspect that probably is. But I use it for composing. And actually I think the quality is pretty good. It shows you autofocus points. I actually don't have an issue with it, but you know, hey ho. So you can add on this version, or you can add on the Mark II version, which is a higher resolution viewfinder, and that's great in bright sunlight, because although this is a bright screen, it's even in bright sunlight, it's not great, you know. So having an add-on viewfinder is useful, and I don't mind that it's an add-on one. I don't mind that it's not included in the body, unlike the M50, which I've got here. That is actually obviously got a viewfinder built into it. And what they've done with the M50 is the tilty-wilty screen, you know, the flip-out screen, as you can see there. But you know, but it is just that little bit bulkier. Actually, in all fairness to Canon, they've done a really good job with the M50 because it's not particularly bulky. But I like that camera. I like that camera a lot. But the other advantages this has is more to do with video than stills. I do like the 32 megapixel stills that come out of it, and I think they're great. They're lovely quality stills. And with a bit of extra megapixels on the sensor, you've got a little bit more room for cropping if you want to crop the image in tighter. So yeah, definitely advantages. But the key advantages for me that came with the M6 Mark II wasn't with stills, it was with video. Now the M50 shoots 4K video, but it's pretty, well, not very good. So the video quality is good, but the autofocus is naff because it goes to contrast detect. You lose your dual pixel autofocus points on the M50 in 4K. So it doesn't focus very well, to be honest. It hunts and it's not very reliable. So you wouldn't want to, well, I don't use it. Whereas also it crops as well. The 4K crop on the M50 is horrendous. So you're always needing to use wider lenses. On the M6 Mark II, it doesn't crop. So when you go into video and you're shooting 4K, you're getting the full sensor readout. So there's no crop in it, regardless of what lens you're using, and that is awesome. Also, you don't lose your dual pixel autofocus. It still retains the dual pixel autofocus. And I've done some tests, and I think I actually done some filming with it, because there was a video I'd done last week, and I used the old, well, I keep saying old, it's not old, the Canon Nifty 50 via the adapter, because I've got the adapter with the camera, and absolutely nailed the focus beautifully, and I will use that a lot more. I can't use it today because I'm showing you the camera, so I can't really film with it while I'm showing it to you. But yeah, the 4K video, and it shoots up to 30 minutes per clip. I have been told that it does overheat. I've not experienced that yet, but then to be fair, I haven't done a massive amount of long shoots with this anyway, so I can't, you know, be the judge on that just yet. But yeah, so it does 4K filming that isn't cropped, and that is fantastic. And as I say, the video quality is excellent. It's absolutely beautiful, love it. Although today I'm filming on my Z6 as a close-up with the 85mm, the original 85mm lens with the FTZ adapter. The other Z6 is filming the wide shot with a 24-70 lens. I've got my close-up shots here being filmed on my Sony PXW-X70, and my trustworthy little Atomos, not Atomos, what am I on about? My DJI Osmo Pocket is filming the wide shot behind me, and I'm using the Mimo app, as you can see here. I'm using the Mimo app to film that with, well, to start and stop the camera, set the angle up and what have you. But yeah, so the M6, great little compact camera, really, really pleased with it. Very much like the Nikons, the adapter is great. I know in the past, when you adapt lenses, they never work, the autofocus never is as efficient, it hunts a bit. No, not with this Canon adapter. I'm using a Canon lens, mind you, so that probably helps a lot. But with this Canon adapter, the camera just sees it as a, M mount lens, and it works completely fine. I've not had any issues with it, and this is the lens I used when I done that filming last week, and I did the close-up shot because I wanted to get that bokeh in the background. It was absolutely nailed it. It was perfect. Had no problems with it. If you're adapting Canon lenses, particularly I think the STM lenses, which are their newer, faster focusing motors, I don't know what it stands for, stepping motor or something, I don't know, silent motor, who knows, but yeah, a great adapter. And there's various models apparently. I've got the one that came free with the camera, and it's a really compact little adapter, just put that adapter on the body, and you can adapt all your Canon mount lenses. So if you are a Canon user and you have existing Canon lenses, then go ahead and use the adapter and you will not be disappointed. It's got 14 frames per second burst mode, which is which is great. I don't do burst photography, but that is high speed continuous. That's good, isn't it? But you can hear the buffer fills up really quick, so you need to, I think you need to be conservative with how often you use that burst mode, because say with that buffer filling up, do you notice that? That lasted for about 2 seconds, and then the buffer just completely filled up, and then it goes off at a snail pace. But it's easy to get to burst mode, and if you find there's something that you do need it, then it'll work, but it won't work continuously. You need a really expensive camera for that. This was never designed for that kind of photography. But again, getting to burst mode, everything's pretty intuitive. Now I've not used it before, and and that's the first time I've used it, so picked that up pretty damn quick. So you just go into that and you go into your different modes: high speed, low speed, self timer, etc, etc, etc. So nifty there. And they say this touchscreen is absolutely fantastic. It has got a custom menu setting, and I'm using that a lot on the Nikons. I'll be using it on here as well. So when you go into the menu, so just go into the menu, inside the menu you have got there where you can set up, I haven't set any up yet, but I will be, and you can set up quick functions in there. So it could be formatting your memory card. That's something that you're always needing to do. Rather than going through the menu, you can set it up in my menu, so that's quite handy. So there we go. That's pretty much an overview of the Canon M50, sorry, not M50, the Canon M6 Mark II. Very happy I purchased it. Really, really nice camera, and I look forward to using it and getting some more great images. But as I say, the image quality that does come off this sensor is fantastic. So there we go. Thanks for watching my channel. I hope you found my channel useful and you found the videos useful. If you haven't already subscribed, would you please do so? It really does help me a lot. And if you like the content of this particular video, can you please hit the like button? That helps a lot as well. Thanks, or make any comments below. That's also useful, as long as they're clean comments. So thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.